Hello, this is Eric Klein from wisdomheart.org. I'm going to talk to you about the Healing Family Karma program that we offer. You know, when I was growing up in New York City, as a kid, I really wanted to play the blues guitar. So I spent hours and hours and hours practicing my riffs over and over again. And I really got to the point where I had ingrained those riffs into my whole neurological system. You know, you could wake me up in the middle of the night, I could play those riffs. And what that's meant is that decades later, as soon as I pick up a guitar, if I start to play, my hands and fingers automatically start to play those very same riffs that I'd practiced so intensely all those decades ago. And that's wonderful as long as I'm wanting to play the blues. But sometimes I want to play some other kind of music, and the challenge then is to kind of break free from those patterns that have been so powerfully encoded into my mind-body system. And that same principle operates at many levels of your life, of my life. And it has to do with this notion that in Sanskrit is called karma. Karma really are these patterns of thought, speech, and action that we've repeated over and over again, and thus have become ingrained in our whole way of being, whole way of thinking, whole way of interacting with ourself and with the world. And when you want to play a new kind of music, when you want to live a new kind of life, when you want to renew your life, you can run into this challenge. Really, how do you transform? How do you work through? How do you liberate yourself from those very patterns that are so deeply ingrained in your body-mind? Now, you learned those patterns in the past. You certainly reinforced those patterns in your early childhood environment. They were repeated over and over again, mostly unconsciously, and therefore they now continue to run sort of in this automatic and habitual way in your life. This is what karmic living is. Karmic living is living unconsciously, propelled by the patterns of the past. Now, if you're listening to this and watching this now, one thing I know for sure is that you have already begun to heal your family karma. You've already experienced both the limitation and suffering that comes from simply perpetuating unconsciously the patterns of the past, and you've had moments of liberation, moments of clarity, moments where you've been free from those constricting patterns, where you've been able to play a new kind of music in your life, where you've been able to experience what it means to really relate to yourself and the world in a fresh and in an unencumbered way. It's a beautiful thing. And we want to repeat that. We want to become better at that. We want to open up our capacity. I'm sure you want to open up your capacity to have that kind of fresh and creative relationship with yourself and your life in more of an ongoing way. But you can't renew your life, obviously, based on the patterns of the past. So somehow you have to make a change. And the whole structure and focus of the Healing Family Karma program is designed for you to enable you, I can say that, is designed to enable you to make that kind of deep change, not superficial change. And one thing we know is you can't really pretend your way into a renewed life. You can't adopt some kind of spiritual persona. That's not going to be sufficient to really create the kind of transformation and breakthrough that you want. You can't, force your way and sort of muscle your way into a renewed life. And you can't really, judge your way into a new life. It takes a different kind of approach. It takes healing. And healing is a concept, healing is a word whose etymological roots reach back into terms that relate to the idea of wholeness. So healing is returning to wholeness. And karmic healing means that that all those unredeemed, unintegrated, disowned aspects, incompleted aspects of yourself are infused with consciousness and reintegrated into a conscious revelation of the wholeness of your being. Those areas of incompleteness through this process become sources of blessing. They become sources of energy. They become sources of creativity. And this is the power of this process. The transformation and the healing is a process of of returning to the wholeness of your own nature, so that you can then more fully, more authentically, and more joyfully engage with your life. That's really what this life is for at its deepest level. It's for that revelation of wholeness within you, and then to express it through you in order to enrich the world. If you don't have this, you have this inner quality of tension, this inner kind of conflict going on, where one part of you says yes, one part of you says no. You're being pulled in multiple directions, and this inner unresolved conflict, this inner incompletion, then expresses itself outwardly as conflicts, tension, and incompletions in your life, in your relationships, in your health, in your business, or in your creative endeavors. So you were born into a family, and all the members of your family certainly carried their own patterns of incompleteness with them. And to the degree that they had integrated, to the degree that they had the conscious revelation of their own spiritual wholeness, to that degree they were able to reinforce that revelation for you. And to the degree that they had incompleteness, also to that degree they were kind of organically or karmically reinforcing those experiences of incompleteness for you. They did, in a sense, the best they could do, given their own pathway, given their own proclivities. And now, it's up to you. Now you are the carriers of those inherited incompletenesses, both those that you brought with you as a soul incarnating into this life, and those that were reinforced and encoded in you, in your family, and in the culture that you were born into. It's really spiritually each of our responsibilities to take those incompletenesses, those unredeemed dimensions, and to bring them into the light of awareness, to heal them, to reintegrate them, so that life personally and that life collectively can be enriched. So that's what the Healing Karma Family Program is designed to do. It's designed to support you in that process of self-liberation. It's designed to support you in converting those areas of limitation and constriction into portals or thresholds through which you can pass and enter into a more fulfilling life experience. It's done in a series of practices because it's not sort of cognitive learning. It's really practices that allow you step by step to reintegrate and to transform wounds into sources of blessing. It's done through cultivating a certain inner attitude and also developing your inner capacity to be the healer of your life and of the family karma that resides within you. I know that in talking about this, just talking about family karma can sometimes activate emotions and sensitivities. It's a vulnerable, tender kind of topic. And you may not know me very well, so like the invitation to delve deeply with me might be a little scary, potentially. And I acknowledge that. All I can tell you is that I've worked with these methods for decades with people, and I've continued to apply them in my own life as my own karmic and spiritual journey continues to unfold. And the practices truly work. They will help you now, But the beauty is that you'll be able to carry them forward with you as your journey deepens, as your pathway expands, as your life continues to unfold. What I'd like to suggest is that you go to the web page that describes the program in more detail, that you read it over, see if it resonates for you, hear what other people have said about it, and then meditate, turn inward, listen to your own soul. What does it want to do? What is it ready for? If you're ready for taking that deep dive into healing your family karma, I look forward to working with you soon. Take care and be well.